As the battle in the symbiote Hivemind rages on, Eddie Brock is met by friends old and new in battling against Null. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Venom issue number 33, a tie-in to King in Black, and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the main King in Black story was going, we actually get an expanded scene of Spider-Man talking to young Dylan Brock. He's distraught over the loss of his father. And you know what? Despite Peter Parker's very complicated and not all that great history with Eddie Brock, he can most definitely relate to the loss of loved ones. Spider-Man gives the kid a really well-written, really impassioned little pep talk saying that he probably feels as if the world is crumbling under his feet right now, and indeed it is in more ways than one. But that as bad as Dylan feels now, the world is still never gonna stop hitting him while he's down, never gonna stop taking away, and there's really only two ways you can deal with it. You can either crawl up into a ball and let the hits rain down upon you, or you can stand back up. For Peter, standing up involved putting on a costume and fighting crime, and while Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and the others believe Dylan will be the key to ultimately defeating Null and pushing back the armies of darkness, Peter wants to give this kid something no one ever gave him at his age, and that is a choice. Of course, if you read the last main issue of King in Black, you know that Dylan is Eddie's son through and through, hot-headed and brash and ready to get out there and knock some symbiote heads for revenge. Dylan, using his Codex powers, manages to get a bunch of the heroes back from the control of Null and the symbiotes, and wouldn't you know it, doing that actually has some rather interesting and unforeseen butterfly effects. You see, from there we transition on back to the symbiote Hivemind, where we see codexes of Eddie, Rex Strickland, and Flash Thompson, who realize that for every person Dylan is able to save in the outside world, an actual real psychic bruise is dealt to Null inside the Hivemind. In fact, if Null's Hivemind gets hurt enough, they might not have to challenge the King of Darkness to go get Eddie's symbiote back. They may be able to stroll out a different way. For that, though, they're going to have to go a lot deeper into the Hivemind, into what is essentially the metaphorical eye of the storm, wherein a bunch of other symbiotes are carrying out codexes. Eddie theorizes that if he can go down there, grab some of the codexes, and power himself up, he should be strong enough to leave this realm. The only problem is that is almost certainly a suicide mission. But for every mission, there is a soldier, and Flash Thompson says that if anyone should risk life and limb to do so, it should be him. After all, he's already died once before, and it's not that scary. In fact, as we discover in this issue, Flash was actually well aware when Eddie was at his grave, saying that he was a better man and a better Venom than him, and that it really touched him. Flash also concedes that while he may very well have been Rex Strickland's first choice back when all of this began, that he may still very well be everybody's favorite, at the end of the day, Eddie rose to the occasion. And that while so much of his internal strife has always been about whether or not he's a good guy or not, just for the sheer fact that he is willing to quite literally beat down the gates of hell to save his son and save the Earth, there should never be any more question left that Eddie is indeed a good guy and a hero. In fact, Flash says Eddie has become a brother-in-arms worth sacrificing it all for, which is exactly what he does. Agent Venom has one last final hurrah, taking out legions of symbiotes single-handedly and opening the way for Eddie and Rex. And even when he does end up quote-unquote dying again, he is reborn as a giant white dragon. Which, you know, as far as ways to die go, that's a pretty damn heavy metal way to die. So yeah, it looks like the way is clear and everything is gonna be okay, right? Unfortunately, King in Black is still far from over, and Null has one last nasty trick up his sleeve. He ends up stepping through Rex, using him as a human portal, to once again grab Eddie and threaten to throw him all the way down to his demise. Wow, to think he's come so far just to come all the way back to where this began. And so that was Venom issue number 33, everybody. Another essential tie-in to the King in Black story. I truly love how this and the main event story are playing off each other in interesting ways. And it's really nice to know that after all the hard work Donny Cates put into the main Venom book, it's not going to end up suffering just because of an event going on in the same universe. And if all of that wasn't impressive enough, this issue seems to exist so Donny Cates can try and do the impossible task of trying to get Eddie Venom fans and Flash Venom fans to understand each other and reach across the aisle. For what it's worth, I was on Team Agent Venom all the way and never thought I would end up actually liking Eddie Brock, who I always thought was something of a 90s casualty, and yet leave it to Cates to make me care for him over the course of this run. Furthermore, in basically restaging the death of Agent Anti-Venom, Cates manages to actually go back and retroactively fix the kind of lackluster death that Flash had in the Spider-Man book. Here he gets a badass hero death, and I mean, how much more can you ask for? Overall, I would give this one another very positive 9 out of 10. This is good must-read stuff. Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.